Have you found that your relationship history is filled with one triggering issue after another? Do your attachment issues keep you from getting close to your partner? Do your partner's attachment issues keep you from getting inside those defensive walls? If so, you're not alone. Here's how you can understand and actually heal your attachment issues in your relationships. And I just want to say, for this class, I'm just going to give a basic rundown of attachment issues, maybe just touch a little bit on healing. Next week, I'm going to go into more about healing. So what are the attachment issues or attachment styles? Attachment styles, there's four of them. One of the challenges, however, with a person forming secure attachments in relationships are sometimes called attachment wounds, which, like I said, I'll get into that. But your attachment style is your mind's template for how safe you are in a relationship. Whatever attachment style you have, whether it's secure, anxious, preoccupied, dismissive, avoidant, or disorganized avoidant, was formed early in your life. So usually it's formed probably about by the time you're one, these are already formed. So it has nothing to do with necessarily today, but just how these attachment styles were formed by the time you were probably about one. Your attachment style is not a conscious choice. It's based on the degree of attunement, loving connection, security, and safety you experienced with your parents or caregivers. And because your attachment style is formed based on your experience with your intimate caregiving relationships, your attachment style in adulthood will be most obvious within intimate relationships. Your attachment wounds are exposed in intimate relationships where vulnerability, trust, and safety are most vital. That's why someone you really care about can deeply trigger your wounds. Someone you know peripherally simply doesn't get close enough for you to activate those wounds. Before I get into deep about this, that's why one of the things that I do in my coaching inside and outside of DBT is I put together what's called an IHP, and it's called an individualized healing plan. And one of the questions I asked is, what is your attachment style? And here's the reason. If somebody has a secure attachment, basically the world around them is relatively safe, and they handle betrayal completely different from somebody who has, let's just say, an anxious attachment style, where they constantly walk around in an unsafe world, because now that betrayal just hit on such a deeper core level. But that's a whole nother topic. All right, the four attachment styles. To understand your attachment style, it's important to first understand what your attachment style is. Some people have a well-defined attachment style, and some have a blend of styles. It's common for people to see them in more than one attachment, yet one style may feel stronger than others. It's almost like love languages. If you're familiar with the love language, everybody has a primary and a secondary, although we all need all of them, the love languages. And if you don't know the love languages, I can get on that at another point. It's perfectly acceptable to create a blended attachment description to reflect who you are right now. For example, you might feel that your style feels 80% secure and 20% anxious. The goal is to increase your personal awareness rather than simply label yourself or your partner. Now, a secure attachment, like I said, is one where the world around you feels safe. If you have any other attachment style other than secure, what would be good as an adult now is to try and work on yourself to get into that secure attachment. Although it's difficult because these attachment styles, like I said, kind of formed before you're even a toddler. So a secure attachment. People with secure attachment style tend to have it a bit easier in their relationships. A partner with a secure attachment style tends to have fairly high level of self-esteem because they were given appropriate attention, love, and TLC as a child. Those with a secure attachment style, they tend to feel confident in themselves and have healthy relationships. They're not afraid of intimacy and have a capacity to be both independent and interdependent. Securely attached individuals tend to be emotionally available, grounded, and non-reactive. As ideal as this sounds, even with people with secure attachment styles, can get triggered now and then. When two securely attached people are in a relationship, Ruptures happen infrequently and are often healed smoothly. However, if one securely attached person partners with someone who is not securely attached, ongoing issues can certainly arise. So if you're a securely attached person in a relationship with an insecurely attached person, your overall work is to stay steady and hold your secure attachment ground. The anxious attachment. Those with anxious attachment styles often have a difficult time in relationships due to their often insatiable need for connection. Individuals with an anxious attachment style often have low self-esteem, yet they tend to idolize their partners. Fantasy bonding, where a partner is put on a pedestal and is seen as the perfect partner, is pretty common with those with anxious styles. A preoccupation with the relationship often results, and obsessive thought patterns are pretty common. Due to a deep fear of being alone and losing a relationship, the anxiously attached person may very well cling and be highly dependent on the person they're with. Those with anxious attachments can be reactive, emotionally hypersensitive, and prone to accepting less than they deserve in relationships. Although often submissive, the anxiously attached person can become aggressive if triggered. Fears of potential rejection or abandonment often lurk, even if there's no reason to suspect that a partner is unfaithful or uncommitted. And the reason being is because this hits kind of like something core in your childhood again. Then there's the fearful avoidant attachment. Individuals with a fearful avoidant attachment style often have substantial difficulty in romantic relationships. They may initially appear to be invested and capable of being connected, but they're not able to maintain healthy connection. Due to low self-esteem, they tend to think that they're not worthy of love and often have a low regard for their partners. Given their inner ambivalence, the fearful avoidant type tends to create like a roller coaster type of relationship filled with unpredictability and drama and conflict. Their internal world is fear-based and chaotic. This often leads to abusive behaviors directed at others and the self. This type is driven by constant conflict between the desire to attach and a deep fear of attachment, which I thought was pretty profound because that is that just an additional internal struggle. You have a desire to attach to the person you're with, but you also have a fear of attachment. Then there's the dismissive avoidant attachment. So individuals with a dismissive avoidant style often appear independent and may have high self-esteem. They often think that they're superior to others, particularly in romantic relationships. Although those with a dismissive avoidant style often seem capable of connection, they're often emotionally distant and self-focused. These often charismatic individuals prefer superficial connections and often prefer hookups and non-committed relationships. The ambivalent, dismissive avoidant type puts up walls and pushes intimacy away. So why do these attachments and issues matter? A person's worst attachment issues tend to get triggered during times of stress. So there may be many occasions when unhealthy behaviors related to attachment wounds are more stable. On the other hand, some attachment styles tend to be toxic to each other because attachment wounds are exaggerated by opposing wounds. For example, a person with an anxious need to attach and connect will likely be highly triggered by a partner with an avoidant attachment that is oriented towards pushing others away. So just to kind of reiterate this again, you might have an attachment where you want to be attached to your partner and want to be connected to your partner, and your partner has a style where they feel that attachment is a weakness. And so then there's a fundamental problem. So healing is possible in any conscious relationship. There are certain mixes that make attachment wounds healing far more challenging. The good news is that you can change your attachment style. If you don't have a secure attachment style, and again, the secure attachment style is where your world feels very safe, you can surely do the self-work to shift into healthier relationship dynamics. And if you're in a relationship, profound positive shifts can occur when both partners consciously invest in healing their attachment wounds. Like I said, next week I'm going to go into more healing the attachment wounds. I just wanted to give a broad view of the attachment styles in this class. If you don't know your style but would like to learn, I did find a quiz online. The site does ask you for a name and address, but your results are automatic. So you can put Sister Teresa in there at sisterteresa@gmail.com. It doesn't matter. Your results are automatic. They don't email them to, they might email them to you, but it doesn't matter. You're going to get them automatically. And it tells you your attachment style. And if you want that link, I'm happy to put it under this video when it posts. Or if you reach out to me beforehand, I'm happy to give it to you. So again, the reason attachment styles are important, it's the same reason why love languages are important. They don't necessarily make or break a relationship, but they do. Knowledge is power, and they do give you a few aha moments of, oh, okay, this makes sense. You know, this person does love me. They just have this type of attachment style, or what have you. So knowledge is power. Attachment styles are just like love languages in terms of pebbles make mountains and raindrops make seas. The more you know, the more life flows.